I don't have time to procrastinate. It's because you're planning around your kids so much because now you're dedicating that certain amount of time. Rather, when you're not having a kid, okay, hey, I don't have to do this right now. Maybe I can do this later. I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
all subjective.
of your income, basically, your all liabilities combined should not be more than 45% of your income.
You don't have to get a home that's 600,000, 700,000, 800,000. You can work your way up to that, So
the home ownership, the American dream itself, it's a fictitious dream that's been sold to us to keep us enslaved in the matrix system. Yeah. Education is not in college degrees, or education is done every day.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Welcome to another episode of Dreamfar podcast. I'm your co-host, Daoud Ibrahim.
Hello. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is our another episode. I'm with the co-host, Daoud Ibrahim. My name is Abdi Satufa. This is going to be our episode number 7, where we talk about investment, real estate, financial literacy, and Islamic financing as well.
Inshallah. So first things that I want to kind of touch base on, maybe update the viewers that are watching from your expert opinion. How are you seeing this current day market, this real estate market?
The real estate market, fluctuates as normally it does. Obviously now it's been summertime. There are more transactions happening, buying and selling. The good news is there's more homes on the market for sale compared to just a few months ago, because now the school term is finished. A lot of homeowners, they tend to list their homes this time of the year. And the buyers also, they want to move this time of the year because the kids are out of school. For that reason, there's more transaction going on. There's more buying. It happens normally from June all the way to end of September. It's a normal pattern. I think that's what changed what's driving the current market. I'll expect this to continue until end of September.
It's a little surprising because you would think that those people who are selling their homes, they don't want to leave their low rates, because a lot of them may be locking around 3. Or do you think it's been so much time since the low rates that the people that are selling their houses are people that are having like 6% mortgages, 7% mortgages anyways?
That's true. I mean, people go through the different
it's not always the rates,
not always rates is very important. Don't get it wrong. It's a very important part of someone making a decision on buying and selling, right? However, sometimes the families, they have to move in for kids school. It could be for work. Probably the house is too small for them, so they can't live there anymore. They have to move. In that scenario, they will take a risk. Even though taking the high rate, at least they want to buy a house that is good for their family, that works in their situation, right? So normally, in a normal markets, whether we have high rate, whether we have COVID or not, summertime, people tend to list their home on the market because it's a summer. Because the kids are not at school. It's more convenient for families to list their home.
Yeah.
Same thing, anyone who wants to buy a home, they tend to buy more homes because the kids are out of school. It's easier to make a decision to look out for better school for the kids. So there are more transactions in summertime. And this particular current market, the rate has slightly improved as well. That always tends to bring more buyers on the market, which is a good news for buyers.
Yeah. So what's the current rates today? Is it like around, I would say?
The rates fluctuate. We cannot we disclose rates on the camera, but it fluctuates. Right now, the rate has slightly improved compared to what it was. It was around mid 7.5, all that range. Now we went down to around 6 point something, high 6, low 7. That's what the rates are right now, which is slightly better than what it was about 6 months ago. It was 8 point something range.
That's actually
slight
really
improvement.
Good.
Yeah,
it's probably going to keep on going lower from here on out.
That's true.
Depending on inflation, how the Feds have controlled inflation.
Absolutely. Also, this year being an election year, we don't know how the election is going to play into the rates. We'll see what happens around maybe October, November.
You think they'll have it like if you vote for this certain president? I'm just kidding.
I mean, Trump, we know from his last term that he likes the rate cut.
He does.
He he pressured actually the Feds to cut rates back in 2019 when the rates were around 5 something, went down to 4 because of his pressure. Obviously, the president has no power on the
But he
Fed's
can, yeah.
independence. However, Trump being Trump, he has actually influencing them to reduce the rate. If it's elected, I'm pretty sure that it's going to go down. It's going to at least go down to 4% to
Damn,
5%.
if that happens, oof.
You'd be surprised. The problem is,
I mean, the refinancing will come back though.
a lot of people are, who bought a home last 2 years, they're able to refinance their homes to at least get a break from the higher mortgage payment. Plus, the only problem is when the rate goes down, you will have a huge, number of buyers coming back to the market, and again, we will see the market that we will see 100 and 200,000 above list price. That's my only concern for this market. However, overall, rate going down, it's good for economy. It's going to stimulate the economy. It's good for the real estate industry as well, because we want people working in the industry to benefit, and also people working around the industry, home builders, all that stuff. It's good for economy. Even though we have problem with our inflation right now, inflation looks like being under control for a while. Slightly, went down from what it was mid 7 point something. Now it's around 3. The Fed's target is to bring it down to 2%. They're getting there. So eventually rate's going to come down. That's just, it's not if, it's when.
Is when.
When it's going to go down. Yeah.
So let's talk about for home buyers, for those to understand the impact of the rates going down to 4%, right? So if the home is around $600,000 and the rate is at 4%, how much do you think someone would have to make about a monthly income? And can you walk through the math so people can understand the difference on if the rate is at 4% versus the rate is at 8%?
So the issue with that is, I think we've had the same experience, the same deja vu back in 2021, when the rate were around 3 point something. Anybody can actually easily qualify to get a mortgage. However, the problem was the down payment. A lot of people waiving inspection, waiving appraisal, paying hundreds of thousands of dollar appraisal differences. That was actually a barrier for a lot of first-time home buyers as well, because most first-time home buyers, they just put 3% or 5% down, majority of them, right? So what happens if the rate goes down? If you have a huge demand and still the supply, we have a shortage on the supply side, then we'll see the market that where you have to compete, put 100,000 and 50,000 above list price, making it difficult for a lot of first-time home buyers to enter the market. Right now, it's relatively easier to enter the market as long as you're okay with the higher mortgage payments, higher rate mortgage rates.
There's not that much competition.
Relatively lower competition. Now, a lot of people are idle, like you see an idle when it comes to buying home. So when the rate goes down to 4%, is obviously you will have a more purchasing power.
So the people who actually win in this case are the people who already bought a home.
Anytime, yes, it's true. If you bought a home in last 2 years with a higher mortgage rate, you have higher monthly payments. You might be struggling, most people, but when the rate goes down, you're actually winning, because what happens when the rate goes down, the home price goes up. For that reason, you have locked in on a house. At least you've locked in the house price. It's not going to go up on you. You already bought the house. You just have to play the waiting game of the rate going down. That's a strategy.
And you have to live anyways. You have to have somewhere to live.
That's
so
true.
It's not like a stock, where it has no benefit for you. It's relatively just on paper. What they home is that this is where you're sleeping. This is where you're living. So you really do win when the rates go down. That means a cut on your monthly payment and your mortgage.
That's true. I mean, obviously, you want to make sure that you afford the mortgage payment.
Yeah.
It's for that reason. That's why we're here. We can find a way to make it work for you. You just be creative on financing options that you have. And then once you're qualified and able to buy a home, absolutely buy the home, then rate is going to go down eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think the key thing for a lot of people to know if they are starting to look to buy a home is how to necessarily prepare themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that you can just walk in and do, right?
Yes.
You need to go through steps of preparing for it, which is the key thing, is to make sure that your liabilities are low. The more liabilities you have, the less you can actually qualify for. And this is just finance 101. The more you can keep your liabilities low is the more money you can have in return. So keeping your liabilities low, checking your credit score, making sure that it's in shape, not having a very high a lot of different types of liability or different hits on your credit score or late payments or all these things, making sure that you're above a 750. Save some money for about 10% down payment and more. Usually, if you want to put down 70,000 down payment, make sure that you have 82,000 around there, because usually your closing cost is going to be 1 to 2%. You have all these things, then inshallah, you're ready to buy a home.
Absolutely. I mean, what you mentioned is basically a DTI. Make sure you have a lower
Yeah,
DTI.
yeah.
That's one of the factor that financing companies, lenders look into when you're qualifying for home. They want to make sure that you have a DTI or debt to income ratio below 45% of your income. Basically, your all liabilities combined should not be more than 45% of your income. If your gross income is $10,000, your liabilities, including your car payment, credit card payment, personal loans, and on top of that, you add your mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Divide that to your income. It should not be more than at least 4,500. Basically, it's a very easy way. In addition to that, of course, making sure you have your credit scores on top notch. Make sure your credit score is above 700, which is always recommended. And then make sure also you're not taking a lot of vacation. You're not switching your job when you're looking to buy a home. Preparation makes the biggest difference. When you need to be prepared when you buy a home.
And what some people don't understand is that like you mentioned, you switching your job, right?
Yeah.
Is that you need to stay with the same profession. When you go to a different profession, then you're kind of restarting your counter to qualify. You need to make sure to stay in the same profession for 2 years. Depending on your loan officer, maybe they can try to make it work, but you're going to make it difficult. But rather, if you can stay in the same profession, and if you're also an hourly employee, this means that your income is fluctuating. So now, most likely, your loan officer is going to require you to stay within that same profession and that same job for at least the last 12 months, so they can consistently see your pay is the same.
Yeah, one of the reasons that underwriters look into the fluctuating jobs or contracting job, because normally to qualify you, we need to have your income, and then we need to go. The underwriter will need to get your DTI or debt to income ratio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a fluctuating hourly job or fluctuating job or contracting job, so we have to divide your income over 12 months. We need to see that history. That's very important. It's key. You need to get that history of 12 months to calculate your average monthly income. For that reason, it's advisable, if you are planning to buy a home, to keep your job for at least 12 months consistently in the same profession. If you are a nurse, work as a nurse.
Yeah.
If you are a travel nurse, or if you are a contracting job, keep it for 12 months. If you have business,
let me ask you,
does it
have to be the same specific job for 12 months? And when they have hourly, if they're hourly employees, or can they, like, let's say, work somewhere else for 6 months and then work somewhere else for 6 months, but they're still hourly?
As long as you can prove that it's hourly wage, it's hourly income, that should not be a problem. Okay. You can verify that. You can show the previous employer was hired you as hourly worker or fluctuating hour. As long as you can build the history within the same profession, right? That's the key part.
How important is it to have it within the same 10% payment threshold? Because I know if you go 10% higher, 10% less, that can cause concerns for the underwriter.
That's really subjective. Go into detail individually. You need to look at the history. You go back and look at it, and then you also look at the year to date and the W-2. You can bear all those kind of scenarios. This is subjective, depending from underwriter to underwriter, how you interpret the guideline. There's a guideline, and there's individual interpretation of it. In anything in life, people interpret things differently. Me and you could read the same book, and we have our own interpretation, our own deduction from it. So for that reason, you have us though here. So to make sure the underwriters make sure they do right by you, so as we know the guideline in and out. Yeah,
I think also just something in general for people to understand is that you don't have to get that beautiful home right away. You don't have to get a home that's 600,000, 700,000, 800,000. You can work your way up to that. So starting off with the property, start off with maybe try to find that number in your mind. You know what? I want a 2-3 bedroom home, but at the same time, I want to be around, let's say, $3,000 monthly payment. Okay, $3,000 monthly payment. I want that to be my monthly mortgage. Now, what does that cost in terms of a home purchase price?
Yeah,
that's actually like what, 500,000 around there. So then you can look at homes that are in the $500,000 range. So I see actually a lot of time that people get discouraged. They looking at these beautiful homes. They want the beautiful home. Everyone wants the beautiful home, but no one wants to make that beautiful payment.
That's true.
So once they see that monthly payment, then they're like, oh my gosh, it's too expensive. Rather start somewhere, start small. Because then if you live in that house, you build equity, then now you're in a position of power where you can rent it out, you can sell it, you can, you can do all sorts of things.
That's why, those kind of customers actually my favorite customer.
Oh yeah.
Because they can qualify for $700,000, $800,000 home, but they're still willing to buy within their means. They're trying to start somewhere small. They buy condo, they buy townhomes, smaller, older house, build equity, and then you don't have to get into large mortgage from the get go.
Yeah, that's frightening for anyone.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just getting into something that big right away.
Yes.
It's hard.
Yeah, before we got here, I was just talk to a customer. I was so excited about the fact that even the way his mindset of, I told him, hey, you're good to go. You got pre-approved for 700,000.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm looking at around 400,000. I feel like my comfort zone is around 2,800, 3,000. I say, mashallah, man,
He knows what he wants.
He knows what he wants. It's amazing because not everybody needs to buy a house by the beach or a house with a beautiful house by a view or mountain view or whatever view.
Isn't because our like in general, people want the satisfaction of other people being like, oh my gosh, look at their beautiful house.
Yes.
And beautiful houses, we have this expectation based off what we see on social media.
Yeah. Right? I mean, are you buying a home to get that to get your actually financial freedom, or are you trying to impress a neighbor? Exactly. Yeah. Are you trying to impress other people? Because the financially savvy person will not do that. You don't want to drive a fancy car just to impress other people. What are you impressing other people? Probably they won't even remember. They won't remember. They won't remember.
The impressive part is for 2 seconds. They
2 seconds is done.
Nice. It's done. They don't even say mashallah.
It's probably envious. You bring envy eyes. So for that reason, it's always good to stay within your means. Something you can comfortably sleep at night, because you don't want to have a big date or big liabilities monthly between you. I always recommend.
That's very stressful too.
Yes,
it's better when you're making your money and you realize all the money you're taking home with you.
Yes.
The stressful feeling is when you make your money and you realize all of it is gone towards your bills, and what's left is a few $100s.
Sometimes you need that freedom, like when you want to sleep without worrying of the bills, the mortgage payments, all that stuff. I actually was watching a documentary that says the home ownership, the American dream itself, it's a fictitious dream that's been sold to us to keep us enslaved in the matrix system. This is they're saying that hey, they're putting this mortgage on us, or they put making us buy homes when we don't need them, to keep us working because someone doesn't have, for example, let's say I was out of town recently last weekend. Yeah. I went to small towns. Saw a lot of home people, like probably they don't even have a job. Just easy, simple life. The reason for that is one, they don't have a mortgage to worry about. Probably the house is passed on from their parents. Not and then yes, and this is small town America. Well, and then the homes are smaller. Probably the property tax and towns like America, it's not expensive. In Idaho, I was in Idaho recently, so like, man, those people can just live life, man. Every day. Monday could be you go to beach day. Monday it could be beach day because you have no diabetes.
Yeah, Tuesdays they're Friday.
On top of that,
every day's Friday.
I would assume, because those people they get also government benefits, unemployment benefits, probably Medicare, and also maybe Social Security benefits
for free. Everything's taken care of.
That's how rural America lives. You'd be surprised. Wow. That's how, because we think African Americans are benefiting from the government welfare. No, it's not true. It's the other way around, because politically they make us believe that, the African Americans are doing this to the system. Immigrants are coming and taking the benefit, but in reality, rural America is actually benefiting from the welfare system, because they don't have a mortgage, they don't work, and then they get the Social Security benefits, all that stuff. Anyways,
they get unemployment.
Oh yeah, all that kind of benefits. It just clicked my mind. I went to Idaho and I looked at that. I said, oh my God, something.
You know what I think sometimes? This is my own personal thing. I don't know how people can just not work. Like, don't you just get bored? Like, just because like you can only wake up and not do something every single day.
Well, that's true.
Like, how? Eventually, you just get so bored. Like, what are you going to do today? The same thing you did yesterday.
That's true. Not everybody thinks that way. You are
Yeah, I
thinking
hear you.
with your own mindset.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people just don't like that kind of stressful lifestyle. They just want to, enjoy their life, watch TV, probably do something DIY on their backyard, all
But
that
I
kind of
think
stuff.
naturally humans, you want a feeling of,
Accomplishment, right?
productive. Yeah, you want something
Yeah,
you're accomplishing. It's
that's one of the concern with AI right now. AI is coming, and then it's going to take our jobs. But what are we going to do?
just study something, right?
Well, what are we going to do? Because what happens is actually the AI is coming is taking actually a blue collar job, like people with college degrees or office works. It's not going to take a job of plumber. It's not going to take a job of someone who's an electrician. It's going to take a job of analyst, someone
Mhm.
financial analyst or business analyst or whatever kind of like
How about loan officer?
software engineers, all that kind of
How
stuff.
about loan officer? You think
Uh,
it could.
it,
It could just
it takes time. It could be, but I think this is a customer service job when it needs a human interaction. I think it takes some time. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future, but
the thing is with AI, it would just give you everything you want. It won't go back and forth with you like how we do when a customer is saying your guys' rates is too high or too low.
yeah.
Usually they say it's too high, but usually AI would just say, "Hey, this is the rates. Take it or leave it. Do you like it?"
Well, we can do that too, but people will not like it as well because
That's
they
true.
a real estate
But
professional.
expectations would change though.
But I think it's just as a loan officer or real estate professional, what you offer is just not it's not just locking the
It's
rate.
the emotional comfort.
Yeah, it's helping, guiding. AI could never replace a human in that way.
That's true.
You are helping, like people need. For example, if you call a company, a corporate company, and the computer like to talk to you, say, "Oh, I can answer that question. Oh, I can help you with that." Would you prefer to computer to help you, or you want to talk to someone?
No, because sometimes you want someone to hear you out, give you a little bit of advice.
Exactly. I always, when I call corporate, okay, I can help you with that. So no, I want to talk to customer service, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you want to talk to someone.
But that's because we're from the generation of customer service. We're not used to it.
Yes.
Maybe the younger generation that's so used to AI, they're like, AI, that's all I know. Like for example, my friend who was he was at a ceremony at graduation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he captioned it, congratulations to the iPad generation.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kids, because all they do is are on iPads and they're just behind the screen the whole time.
That's true.
So I think it's just generation to generation.
That's true.
Becomes
I mean, if you compare the past generation to our generation itself, most people, instead of calling to ask someone, they go Google it.
Yeah.
Now you can chat GPT. If you don't know something, you can always ask. Obviously, it's changing.
Or even phones, like the previous generation, they were never on they don't know how to use their phones. Have you ever seen an old person use a phone?
No, but have you seen
they use one finger to guide themselves like this?
That's true. Even the new generation, they don't even know like to call people now. You just chat. They will text you.
Yeah, text.
Hey, I'm at the door. I'm like, you could just knock the door.
Knock the door. Exactly.
I'm at the door. So it's changing. Obviously,
everything's just easier. Whatever makes things easier, and people get used to it.
That's true. But I think if you ask me, the real estate professionals, I think it's going to take some time for AI to replace. AI is not going to replace a real estate agent showing home, helping, guiding the home buyer. It's going to take time. I'm not saying it's not possible.
My question also is, when it comes to having AIs replace everything, what's the charge? Because usually it's going to have to be a company who's producing the AIs. Not every company will produce their own AIs. I mean, that's pretty expensive.
That's how it's going right now. Every company have integrating AI to their website, to the system, whether it's HR, whether it's to marketing, sales. That's how it's going right now. AI it was like, we thought like, oh, some company is going to create AI and sell it to us. But now everybody's creating their own AI. It looks like you need to own it. You need to be part of it. That's how it's going on. And every company, any institution, like Fortune 500 companies, they have some kind of AI on their website right now. If you go there, you have customer service AI. You want something for AI, you can answer a question. The way it's going, like the excitement that we had for internet back in 2000s, that's going to be AI in the near future. If you're not prepared for it, you'll be left behind, man.
Start studying something, man.
Yeah, you'll be left behind.
A skill.
Yeah, it's true.
It's very important to study a skill, regardless of whatever.
We actually taught like 10 years ago. Kids, everybody needs to study a program, some kind of program. Even me, I was taking some classes just to be updated.
Like coding, you were taking.
Yeah, coding, programming, right? Just you need to some kind of programming language. Now it looks like the AI could do that. You actually need to know how to instruct the AI to do that for you. You don't need to know programming language, because programming language became our English language became programming language. I can ask AI to actually program whatever I want. by just telling it in plain language.
I
Instead
have
of,
some coding friends. They told me that the thing is with an AI is that it goes a lot longer. It still does it, but it's a lot longer route than when a human does it. When a human does it, it's a lot more short, straight to
well,
it.
it's learning. It's machine learning. It's learning. We just started a few years ago, so
It's only gonna keep on getting better.
it's going to get better. It's just compared to last year and this year, it's much improvement. Next year is going to do much better than. We never thought AI could code. Now they actually write better code than humans.
Mhm,
They know, much better, quicker, faster
mhm,
than a human could do it.
mhm.
So it's only it's going to get better than it's not going to get worse. So I believe AI is a big revolution. It's going to make an impact, obviously, in our industry as well. Now a homeowner,
I mean, guidance has some form of AI when it doesn't it, like when it comes to some way of streamlining the process.
yes. So for example, the underwriting system can be streamlined with AI.
Yeah.
Instead of an individual looking over the document, AI could read the document, the W-2s, the tax returns, the pay stub. AI could read on the spot. See, give you the income calculation.
Give you income calculation.
Yes, and then
DTI,
pre-approval on the spot.
Yeah, if they
That's how the
qualify.
industry is going right now. The pre-approval can be approved given in a few hours. Just AI, just upload the documents, AI read documents, and you're good to go or not. They can also even detect fraud. AI could detect fraud. Like, for example, if you have someone giving you a fraudulent pay stub, fraudulent bank statements.
I received fraudulent tax returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when we got the transcript, I went back to the guy and I said, "Hey, man, this is not the same tax returns that you gave me." Yeah.
Unfortunately, it happens. It's a very common thing than it should be. People think they can still get away with it.
It's
I've actually had
too.
I had a customer call me saying that, well, I'm just going to give you the draft and then you're going to get me pre-approved and then I'm going to file something else. I thought, brother, what you're telling me is, it's fraud. you can't tell me that. And you can't get away with that.
Yeah.
Because it's a fraud. It's, we're going to verify because it's the most regulated industry. You can't just come get a mortgage with a fake document. It's not easy.
Around 2008, I think that's when, at the time where people were just doing whatever they wanted to do. I think they would just walk in. And I think there was a lot more actually maybe focused on race based at the time, where depending on your status, how you look like, the banks will qualify you for a mortgage.
Yeah, there was no guideline because before 2008, anybody can buy a home. Yeah. Anybody can qualify for a mortgage. And there's a lot of subprime loans being sold in the secondary market. And those people were actually being sold on a mortgage that they don't even understand. They were being sold a mortgage that they can't afford. They were being told that, oh, you have a rate for short-term adjustable rates. Those adjustable rates
become balloon payments.
Yes, and those adjustable rates changed when the rate went up. Their mortgage payment doubled. And those people, their home price went down because a lot of homes being foreclosed on. And then people did not want to keep their home anymore because underwater, because they owe more than what the house was. Yeah. So that's how the market crashed, right? That's the story. After that, what happened, the Congress came together and they came up with a law saying that if anyone was to get a mortgage through Fannie and Freddie, which is almost 95% of the mortgage industry, they have to go through these guidelines. So you have to be working for 2 years in the same job. You need to, DTI below 45%, and then all that, all the guidelines, which made actually the mortgage industry stronger and vibrant and good sector to invest in.
Yeah.
That's how we are able to attract actually investors.
It makes it easier. It makes it easier for your average Joe, to know that you're going into a mortgage that by the time you're done making your payments, there's not going to be a big payment that you're going to have to make, and every monthly payment you make for the rest of the 30-year term, you're going to be done at that time, and your rate doesn't go anywhere. There's a lot more clarity these days.
Absolutely.
And also, your financial institution, they look at your liabilities. They know that, hey, you really can't qualify for this house. Obviously, it doesn't tell the full story because we only can see what's on your credit report. If you're making payments that are not on your credit report, we can't see that.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think we take into account the kids that you have, how much groceries you're going to have to pay and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you get a good idea of, hey, you really can't qualify for this house. So to protect yourself from entering into a home that you can't afford.
And also, Feds didn't do it for individual benefit. Obviously, the economy also collectively will benefit from this structure because now the mortgage industry is very strong because of that. Because what caused the market to crash is when we have a huge foreclosure, everybody's foreclosing on the property, and we have supply of the homes are in the market is higher than, and the home price drops, which basically means now your house is probably lower than your values were lower than your mortgage, and then it's called underwater. And that scenario is it's not good for anyone because banks cannot finance. The homeowners, they lose their homes because of that. It's not good for the economy. And then a lot of people also invest in mortgage-backed securities. So those also have its own impact. Obviously, it has a lot more broader than what I was talking about, what I'm saying, but that's one of the main reasons. So we don't have that problem right now. The economy is good. Hopefully the rate comes down.
Inshallah.
So how's everything with you?
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah?
I'm doing good, man.
How was Eid?
Eid was good. I enjoyed Eid. I went to Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What was that?
Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook, Vancouver. You like that place. You've been there a lot of time.
It's my first time.
Ever?
Ever.
Probably a different place then.
Yeah.
How do you find it?
Oregon is where I kind of go to sometimes.
Okay.
Canada was nice. We had to go through the border customs.
Okay.
It's like immediately when you drive past them, they ask you, "What are you doing here? How long are you going to be here? Why are you here?
That's true.
Do you have anyone that you're visiting here? Open up your back window."
Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
It's very well. When you are traveling,
overseas. It's
when you're traveling black. It's just one of those things we have to deal with. It actually happened to me when I went to Vancouver as well. They had to stop me and ask me all those questions.
They pull you over to the side?
I got pulled over aside, and they searched my car and asked me and searched my information, all that stuff. It was probably also I was not clear when I was telling them where I was staying. I was not also as clear.
You were in a good mood? What were you saying?
Maybe it was like, when they asked me where I was staying, I forgot the hotel's name. I was like, oh, okay, this and that. Maybe, I don't know. I got pulled over and they were searching my car. It wasn't a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
They kept me there for 2 hours.
Wow, 2 hours?
About 2 hours, yeah, I was just waiting. Really, yeah, so I never come back to Canada again. Yeah, I haven't been there for a long time. Why would I go to Canada? We have a big America here. We have a big land in America.
Canada here,
Oh, Canada, tiny country, man.
It's anytime you do something new, things that you haven't seen before, I always like it.
Yes.
So there's a few things that they have there that we have here, like the Vancouver Lookout. It's like their version of the Space Needle.
Yes.
And then they have also this place called like Flyover Vancouver.
Oh, they do?
Have you ever
like zip line?
No. Have you ever been to Wings Over Washington? Are you aware of what that is?
No.
It's like this 3D movie theater where you're sitting, but it looks like from the movie you're going through the mountains and everything.
Is that like in a screen or
it's on a screen, but it feels like it's real life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
like a 3D, like you put your.
You don't put glasses on, but like they have the screen all right in front of you.
I see.
And they have you sitting up, and like the seat goes up in the sky.
Oh, I see.
Your seat is like dang.
I think I've had that experience in Disney, or they have that kind of experience.
I did it at Disney World.
Yeah, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, so it was nice, and then also the currency is lower, so everything you pay for is like always $10 lower. So
slightly cheaper.
Yeah. So you think it's like, oh my gosh, this costs $30. It actually ended up costing like $18. You're like,
okay.
Not bad.
Okay,
you know?
that's not. Vancouver is basically Seattle.
It is.
It's another Seattle. The weather's the same. The weather looks the same. The city even looks the same. It's more beautiful. It's more cleaner than Seattle.
It is very clean.
Yeah, relatively cleaner.
I went to some of the masjids there. They have this really beautiful masjid that's there. They have a big Islamic community.
You prayed Eid there?
In Vancouver. No, I didn't pray Eid there. We went after Eid prayer. I had to pray like I think Maghrib there.
Okay.
So they have a pretty big Muslim community there. Some of the kids were playing basketball. I remember I was playing with some of the kids, and out of nowhere, the mom told the kids, "Hey, come," and they left.
Wow,
I didn't take it personally. I was just thinking, okay, I understand. If I was a parent or something, especially a mother,
the young kids.
Yeah, if a mother sees like her kids being played with someone that they don't know,
yeah,
because I'm sure it's a tight knit community. I'm sure everyone knows each other there.
And they don't know you, and you're an outsider.
They're like, yeah, let's go. Hurry.
It's fair enough,
It's fair. I understand. At first, I was like, where did they go? And I see them. You know how I knew that was the case? One of the kids was like, Mom, we just got here.
Oh,
You know, I was like, I'm sorry, man.
you ruined their day, man.
Yeah, I remember the day, man. The kids wanted to play basketball. The good thing is they have some hoops that are low, so you can dunk on it.
Oh, I see.
So that was fun.
So you're dunking on young
Yeah.
kids.
How about yourself, man? What'd you do for Eid?
Eid, I actually went to Spokane. I prayed in Spokane, very tight community as well, very small community. Yeah, I was there for Eid and after, I know it was cold as well. The weather was supposed to be warm there. It was pretty cold.
Mhm.
So we ended up doing not much.
I
Yeah,
know
it
you
was,
ended up graduating. Why are you skipping that part, man? That's the
uh,
reason why you were in Spokane.
well, yes, through, yeah, it was my graduation week and the next day was Eid. I was like, one of the worries actually was Eid was going to be on Saturday
Yeah,
and it's going to be the same day as graduation. I was worried about that for a couple of weeks. And alhamdulillah, the Eid ended up on Sunday. So I
that's
think
what's up.
yeah, I went from here on I think Friday, stayed there. Graduation was on Saturday, which was amazing, which was a good day, mashallah. And then Eid was on Sunday.
Mhm.
We stayed there for 4 days, and we came back on Tuesday.
Yeah, how was that like walking up and everything when you realize it's like it's done and this is it?
Well, it's true. It's I get to see some of my classmates and also when you are online education, I actually I've not even been to the campus, so I went to visit the campus, and it's amazing because it was if it you think it's easy, but like passing through that, the whole 2 years, the late nights, those assignments needs to be submitted on time, all that stuff is not easy. Wallah, it's a lot of commitment, but alhamdulillah, I was able to complete it.
Mhm.
It wasn't easy.
I'm sure it's not easy.
It was yes, it was not
Especially
easy.
because like you're not like 18, 19 where all your focus is just really school.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
you're a grown man, you know, you have kids, you have all these stuff and you have to
yes.
study.
The earlier that my recommendation is the earlier you do the better, because now once you have kids, you have a commitment towards your kid. Once you have a
Oh,
family,
yeah.
you have family.
Things get hard when you have kids.
Oh,
Huh?
absolutely. Now you only have 24 hours a day. You have
But I
work.
feel like personally,
Uh-huh.
I feel like the men evolve when they have kids. I feel like I've seen it with so many different people, with so many different men. The moment they have kids, it's like something clicks in their head where they're like, oh, okay, it's time to work. You know, I don't have time to procrastinate. It's because you're planning around your kids so much because you know now you're dedicating that certain amount of time. Rather, when you're not having a kid, you know, okay, hey, I don't have to do this right now. Maybe I can do this later. I don't know. Maybe it's all subjective.
That's true. I would say when you are married and have family, now your focus is on your family. You don't spend much time outside with friends and just hanging out doing nothing. Those time could be put into a productive hours, productive time, instead of wasting time with friends and all that stuff. When you're single, you have a lot of time to spare. You probably you don't even know how many hours you wasted
You have
just
no
hanging
idea.
out, doing nothing. So
You have no sense of responsibility. You have
yes,
no like you can do whatever you want. You can lose a
yes.
job.
That's one of the reasons that actually as a Muslim as well. It's always good to be, get married and establish your
I don't
family.
think it's good.
So you can focus. All your focus right now is now, instead of finding the right wife, you already have a wife. You already have your kids in the family. Your goal is very clear.
Mhm.
Your mission is clear.
Mhm.
You know where you're going. Is so you spend.
You're
you
not
can.
distracted.
You're not. That's very important word. Distraction. Like once you're distracted everywhere. Now when you married, when you have kids,
You're most likely to go out at nighttime.
yes,
You're
true.
most likely to hang out with your friends, sleep late.
Yes,
There's no structure around you when you're single. You just
That's
do
true.
whatever you want to do. You
That's
know?
true. That's true. So I think that also, even though it's difficult to manage, but at least it will give you that clarity that you're not distracted with different things.
Yeah.
You go home, spend time with your family. Now you have also
you have
give time
some-
for your studies.
Yeah. Now you have some time. Okay, hey, I know I'm not gonna have that time later.
Yes.
Let me study right
Yeah,
here.
exactly. The late night mostly. I'm good at staying late. That's probably my
The thing is,
quality.
what's hard about staying late nowadays is that Esha's at 11, Fudge is at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Depending if you have to work, you have to be there by 9.
I wasn't taking summer classes.
Yeah.
I didn't take
You don't wanna
summer
take
quarters.
summer
I took break for summer mostly. Alhamdulillah, wallah, it's a blessing. I'm glad I did. It's something that I wanted to do for a long time. It is something that's done behind me, but education is going to continue.
Yeah.
Education is not a college degrees, or education is done every day.
One thing I want to touch on is there are millions of parents that still graduate school, that still do everything, take trips. So I don't know. Like when you have a kid, people feel like it's such a burden on you, but in reality, there are so much high functioning families that still have kids that still function. It's
Yes.
not. You're never going to be the last person to have kids. Or the first.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
been
if
done
you want to make
generations.
excuse for everything,
Exactly.
you can either make excuse for everything or put time to work and then get dedicated and you can do anything possible.
That's true.
Especially with this technology. Education right now, you don't have to go to college. College is coming to you home. It's online programs available.
Mm.
You just have to put time, sit down and study. In the past, you have no that option. Right now, it's everything's flexible. You can work from home.
Yeah.
You can study from home. You can get a PhD from home. So there's a lot of flexibility. That's a good thing.
Even so, sometimes if you have a job, your job may allow you to study. If it's not
Exactly.
a very busy job, you have time to sit there and actually study a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So alhamdulillah, it's amazing experience. And I will continue, something that I strive for.
To
Education
continue
is,
studying.
yeah, education is everything because yeah, as a human being, you have to, like, our brain need to develop, not only our body. So the way you develop your brain is through education, reading more
Yeah.
books and learning new things every day.
I mean, and nowadays the medium income as we see it is constantly increasing. So what
Yes.
that means is that you need to constantly keep developing yourself.
Yes.
If you want to have a sustainable life here, depending on where you are, because the states that have the more opportunity are usually more the expensive states.
That's true.
So it goes hand in hand. An expensive state, yeah, there's opportunity there. You need to capitalize on it, but it's expensive. States that are cheaper, that are lower, is also lower in pay as well. So no matter where you go, it's still always going to be somewhat of its own difficulties and challenges, but you need to make sure that you're doing the constant right things day in and day out, and eventually those things accumulate and
Absolutely. I
more
don't
and more.
see education as a tool to get a job as well. I look at it as a personal development. We need to develop ourselves, our skills, our knowledge in something. So learning every day, learning never stop. It does not end up in college. It doesn't end up with a master's degree or even doctorate degree. You need to continue learning and develop yourself. If you always high earners, millionaires, what differentiate millionaires is they spend a lot of time reading. An average millionaire reads 50 books a year.
Damn, man.
Yes.
I don't remember last time.
50 books a year. The reason for that is because you learn something from other people. You may not, because the way it works, reading book, the way it works is you may not get an idea and implement it for one book, but the collection of the knowledge that you read,
then you can form an opinion.
and then from an opinion, more than that as well, solutions, like solving problems. All the collection of the knowledge, when you run into a problem, is going to solve it. You have it in you because you are taking an education of experience from people. Right now, the book I'm reading is a Steve Jobs. This guy is in technology. It's not related to me. It's not related to my field. But like, you learn a lot of leadership from his book, for example, leadership styles. It's very unique. Steve Jobs, I definitely recommend you reading the book as well. His leadership style is totally different than other people that like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or other leaders that in the industry. So you learn something from him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's how when I say education is not about only a degree, it's about reading and learning every day, improving yourself on every aspect of your life.
So that's true. I 100% agree with you there.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I hope you take into maybe you go to college next year.
Inshallah.
Did I motivate you?
We'll see. One step at a time,
Did I motivate you now?
To go to college?
Maybe not college. Maybe yes. Why not college?
I do, inshallah. This is off camera.
Okay.
And this part stays off camera. But yeah, inshallah, that is the plan. That's the goal. Right now, I'm studying the real estate agent. Things at a time. Once I get that, that's the next step. And
Okay.
actually, probably more so like probably want to study project management.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. PMP, there's actually a certification called PMP. I don't know if you heard about it.
For me, I feel like what kind of works is that you get stable income and then you build up after that until the point where you don't need your stable income anymore.
That's true.
And then you go into your business and whatever it is. If I go straight into the business, depending on whatever it is, it's just too much stress. When you're thinking so much about money, you're a lot more restricted, and you're thinking kind of naturally you're going to be put in a scarce mindset.
Yeah, that's true. I
If
mean,
you're
it's in life, you have to try everything and fail, and
Yeah.
that's how you learn.
To figure out what works.
Yeah, fail in, and like you have to fail in here and there. That's how you know that you have to have the scar to show success is not just doesn't happen. You
Yeah,
have to
it's not just
fail
one
something.
thing.
You have to
You have to,
fail and get up and do it again. Fail and get up and do it again. That's how it is.
but then you can manage your fail. You can slowly like not fail, but like you
Don't
can.
fail backward, fail forward, so you learn.
There you go.
Well, that's a,
No, what I was trying to say is there's a way to mitigate your loss,
all right.
while you can still keep winning. You know?
I just want us to make sure that our podcast is not about just real estate.
Yeah,
We
I
want to
think
be engaging to the audience.
this part is very important. I
Yeah.
had brothers. I actually had a guy come up to me and say, "Hey, you should like talk more about things that how the average person can succeed. Where they can start looking to grow in their profession. Just
Yes.
regular things.
Yeah, can you
But
share your experience, like out of college, how you end up in an IT field, how you decided to do that, and share that
and
with?
then get into real estate.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, for me, it was usually everyone experiences is different.
Mhm.
So for me, the first thing I've always had like a passion for real estate. For me, IT was more of a means of getting into real estate. A more of a stable income
Mhm.
way of getting into things. But real estate is always something I've always seen, what it does, what it has done for families and what it has done for other people.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's what's always motivated me is that one, you need a place to live, as well as, of the money of what it does for your net worth in general.
Yeah.
The person who has a home versus the person who's renting, their net worth is about 25 times more.
That's true.
Right. I learned that. And I also learned that 90% of all millionaires all started off with real estate.
Mhm.
So then the idea was, okay, how do you get into real estate? And it was kind of more of a map out. If I can be in IT for this long, if I can generate this amount of income wherever it is, then maybe I can divert into real estate and getting properties. But it wasn't until my a professor of mine told me, he was like, "Hey, why don't you just start working straight into real estate and then go from there?" So
Mhm.
that's where that kind of the idea, the seed grew. And then to the point where I was like, you know what, I want to get into real estate. And that's when I stumbled upon Islamic financing. And that's when I learned, Islamic financing is actually a thing here in the US. I was shocked by that. So when I learned Islamic finance, and Islamic financing is so fascinating and so interesting. I remember anytime I would go to the masjids, I would tell the people, "Hey, I work in Islamic financing." Always I had people around me like asking questions or wanting to debate me if it's haram, if it's halal. Islamic financing is so like controversial kind of a little bit,
That's true.
because
That's
it's
true.
always a topic that people are eager to talk about.
That's true.
So and I'm sure you've
I mean, this
experienced
it's true. I mean, I just sometimes I don't understand the negativity that comes with it as well.
Mhm.
Because you say people like people have opinion about it. Everybody have some kind of opinion about it. But in general, though, when you go back to real estate, it is something that everybody agrees that it's a good investment. Buying in real estate, investing in real estate, it's not it's like it's no disagreement on that. The only difference is on how and how to get started. But to invest in real estate, you don't need to become a real estate agent or you don't need to work in the industry. You can be an investor. So I know a lot of people who are investing in real estate. They don't have real estate license. You don't have to, because people think that it's, oh, can I be investor without getting license? No, you don't need a license. You need to invest. And, you work with a licensed person, obviously, to find a home. Work with a mortgage professional
Yeah.
to make sure that you're getting the best options, the best financing options available. It's something that actually our youth need to learn and build wealth through this real estate. Because you want to be wealthy, the best way to get through is real estate. The quickest. Obviously, you have alternative options, maybe investing in stock, all that stuff. But real estate is the most stable for the last 50 years, the most dependable asset that out there.
I think what's so fascinating with real estate is that there's so many different ways you can get into it.
Yes.
It's not just a one way, whether if you want to go work in the profession
Mhm.
or if you want to invest your money into properties,
Mhm.
is that it has a place for everyone,
That's true.
Some people are more of like, hey, you know what, I don't want to work in it because I'm not really good at sales.
Yeah.
No problem. Find a good job where then you can find property. And then after you can find property, find the next property. And and talking to a loan officer, someone can guide you into how to do it. Most people don't know is that when you buy your first property, the next property you can get the same deal as your regular property, as a property you have now, you know, by doing just a primary home. You know, it doesn't have to be an investment property.
That's
You know,
true.
usually a lot of people think that, hey, if I want to go buy another home or a second home, then I have to possibly, like, it's going to be considered a large liability or an investment home or something. What people can do is that you can buy your primary home, and then even the next primary home, that same home that you are actually were living in, you can rent it out. So that liability doesn't actually get even counted against you.
That's true.
So it's a very seamless process.
Yeah, I mean, you can put 5% down
5%
for primary home and
yeah.
move to the next one, put a 5% down. That's another option. Another option is you can start buying a duplex.
Something you can
There's a
even,
lot of strategies, a lot of
you can even
options.
do is, depending on the rate and stuff, you can take a cash out, refinance from the home,
Yes.
use that money as a down payment for another property. You're not
Yes.
using any money up front at all.
But
you
there's
know?
one thing I want to put that is there's no shortcuts. There's no overnight getting rich in real estate. It takes
Just
time.
anything in life, everything you
It
have to
takes
work hard.
time. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, there's a lot of gurus online trying to sell you courses to get rich overnight. There's nothing like that.
No.
It takes time. It's a lot of hard work. There's nothing passive. It's hard work. If you want to invest in real estate, you buy a property, you have to manage that property. You want to make sure that the property is taken care of. It's a lot of work, but in the long run, it's the best investment you could do.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, we want to educate, and also, you know, we need to talk about those, how to get started.
Things practical.
Practical items, yeah.
So I think it's also important for people to know is just get something. Start with the job, you know. Of course, the best thing to do is start with the highest paying job. If you can get something that where you can get a skill in and you can make 150 to 200,000, whatever it is, that's great. But even if, you know, you start with $70,000, $65,000, hopefully the person that you need dual income in this case.
Yeah.
You know, because the reality is if you're making 60, 70,000, you can't afford anything here. That's just depending on where you live, you know. But here in this state, 60, 70,000 won't cut it. So if you're making actually, let's say you are in this case where you're making 60 to 70,000, you have a spouse that's also making 60 to 70,000, or you have a brother who's making this amount, that's 140,000 together. You guys can buy your first property together.
That's true.
Boom, you just started in real estate.
Absolutely. And also maybe consider buying, you know, there's a lot of options to make money or invest in real estate. You can be a flipper, you can get into buying and selling. That's another option.
How about FHA too? Let's not talk about FHA.
I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, if you want to start and invest in real estate, that we're talking out of the realm of Islamic financing, there's a lot of options as well.
But those options are haram.
There's yes, obviously it's a loan, it's a conventional loan.
Actually, I will say haram. It's haram.
Yeah, it's conventional loan is making the fatwa, this guy. Anyways,
saying riba is haram, that's fatwa. I need a fatwa for that. This is the new age Islam, huh?
What can you do? Anyways, I think we're calling it a night today. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. We want to have weekly podcasts on a Dreamfar podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You want to add something?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next week, inshallah.